Yes. Okay, we're recording. Yay! All right, so welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to start off this evening kind of with what I actually want to start off with is the roadmap to team leader. Okay, because I know that earlier in the week when we got together, we talked about the qualifications for leadership and what those look like. And I'm assuming everybody here knows what those qualifications are, what you need to do to achieve that, that promotion, okay? If you don't, please speak up, type it in the chat, raise your hand, whatever. But let's make sure that you understand exactly what it takes to get to team leader. Now, your challenge for, hopefully for tonight, before you go to bed, okay? I want you guys to put in the chat, in the Voxer chat, okay? What is your goal date to achieve that promotion? Okay? And here's the thing. I want it to scare you a little bit. Okay? Because here's why. First of all, if you don't meet your goal date, it's not the end of the world. You just start over the next month. Okay? It might be a little frustrating or a little disappointing because you didn't get there, but it doesn't, you don't lose anything, right? At the end of the day, you've grown your business, you've, moved, you've probably gotten a bigger paycheck, all those things. So, so it's not the end of the world. I wanted to scare you a little bit because, not only do I want you guys to tell me when you want that date to be, but I also want you to tell me why. Okay? Not just me, each other. It's your Voxer thread. Okay? I want you to tell me when, and I want you to tell me why. And the reason is because we need to be able to focus on the activities that are going to grow your business. And I'm here to tell you, you're going to have days that suck. You're going to have days when you get nothing but no's. You're going to have days when you get hated on, quite honestly. I mean, y'all, I can't even tell you how many ugly comments I got from some people when I was reaching out, during lockdown and stuff, asking people to buy wine. I mean, I got some people that were just like, how dare you ask people to buy things in a time like this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, how dare I? I mean, do you know that it feeds my family? So I don't really have much of a choice. So, but I didn't say that to anybody, but my point is I got some pretty ugly comments from people. I even got some F-bombs and like, yeah, I mean, y'all would be surprised. So you're going to be hated on from time to time. Okay. But you can't find the people that you're trying to reach if you don't experience the no's and even some haters along the way. That's the end of the, that's the bottom line. So I want you guys to come up with your date and why, because when you have those days, when you're getting nothing but no's, you're not getting where you need to get to, you're not, overcoming those objections, and you're hitting those walls left and right, you're going to want to quit. I'm here to tell you, even 10 and a half years later, as a senior executive director, there are days when I go, why am I still doing this? Why do I keep doing this? It doesn't go away. Okay. But that why is what makes you want to do it again and again and again. Okay. Does that make sense? So I want you guys to share that with the group, hopefully before you go to bed. So let's talk about that roadmap to team leader and what it looks like. Okay. So the requirements are you need to have 3 personally sponsored active recruits. Okay. That means you have to have recruited them directly, not somebody in your team. Okay. However, somebody in your downline that recruits somebody does count in your central team. Y'all understand that? So your central team is anybody in your downline who's not a team leader. That's everybody for you guys, right? So your central team is everybody in your downline that's not a team leader or above. And so anybody that is in your team, their sales volume counts in your central team volume. Okay. But you have to have personally sponsored 3 people to be a team leader. And they also have to be active, which means they have to have either done their $300 in sales in the past rolling 3 months, or they have to be in their first 90 days. Everybody's automatically active for their first 90 days. Okay. So that actually means you could do $3,500 in sales and you could sign up 3 people on the last day of the month and you could earn team leader promotion because everybody's always active for their first 90 days. Okay. So 3 personally sponsored recruits, 3,500 in central team volume. That counts up to $1,500 in wine club volume. Okay. I don't think anybody in this group is in any danger of hitting that $1,500 mark anytime soon, but you can include up to $1,500 in wine club volume. That should speak volumes as to why you need to sell wine clubs. Because of your 3,500 volume for your qualifications, 1,500 of it can be wine clubs. Those are customers that are just buying every single month. They're just, they're on that auto ship. Boom, you've already got 1,500 towards your 3,500 requirement for the month. Okay, so that's a good reason to really increase those wine clubs. So 3,500 as a team, all right. And what I can tell you, having done this for a really long time, is typically to achieve that $3,500 in volume, it takes anywhere from about 12 to 15 tastings in a month to get that $3,500 in sales. Okay. So for those of you girls that don't have anybody on your team just yet, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to do 15 tastings if I want to sell $3,500 and, make that promotion. And here is the biggest reality for you guys, is that typically team leaders in their month of promotion until up to about 6 months after their promotion, okay, are typically doing anywhere from 80 to 100% of that volume by themselves. Why? Because you probably only have 3 people on your team that are contributing, okay? And all of them are pretty new, learning the ropes, figuring things out, trying to figure out how to book tastings, trying to figure out how to sell wine, all the things that they're trying to figure out. So them contributing large numbers of tastings and volume is not very likely. Can y'all hear my family in the other room? Can you? Is it really loud? Is it really loud? For real? Okay. All right. So I put these on because I hoped it would drown it out, but apparently not. So anyway, you got to really make sure that you're working towards that 12 to 15 tastings in a month. Now, that being said, I'm not saying anybody in this group needs to be doing 12 to 15 tastings in a month, but if you want to do that $3,500 in sales, you've got to be making up that difference somewhere, somehow, and or recruiting. Okay. So recruiting needs to be your number one focus from the get-go. Unless you want to be, so now the dogs are going to bark. Unless you want to be crazy ass Mandy Harkle Road, doing 787 tastings a month. All right. Because I don't know about any of you guys. I have no desire to do as many tastings as she does. She's crazy. She has 4 tiny boys at home and she's with them all the time, and she would do anything to get away from them. So I understand her reasoning for it. However, I don't want to do that many tastings. Okay. So I had to recruit. I had to recruit a team because I wanted other people contributing to that team volume. Okay. So you have to start with the recruiting early. And we're going to do a whole series on helping you guys really learn how to recruit. It's going to be a learning process. Okay. The thing is that you see on your boards, you need to be asking one person every single day if they'd be interested in learning more about your business opportunity. Every single day. Okay. Do you know why I have you asking that many people? 1 a day? Just for the record, the directors have to do 3 a day. Just so you know. Okay. So y'all only have to do 1. And the reason I have you do 1 is because if you do that math, okay, That's 7 people a week. Okay? On average, statistically, you're going to get about 1 in 10 that say yes. Okay? That's not to discourage you. That's just to be upfront and honest with you so you have some realistic expectations for yourself. You have to know that for every 9 people that you ask, you're going to be told no. And then suddenly you're going to finally get a yes. Okay? So knowing that up front helps you manage your expectations, but it also helps you realize how many people you need to be asking. Okay? Now that doesn't mean you don't, hit the jackpot at some point and you go to a tasting and 3 people join from one stinking tasting. It might happen. Okay? But then you better be prepared to get about 30 more no's before you get another yes. Okay? I'm not going to lie. I'm not lying to y'all. I want you to manage your expectations. Okay? So the reason I have you reaching out to at least one person a day, one new person, one new ask every single day is because I want you to start getting those yeses. Okay? And I think a lot of the myth is too often we're looking for a quality lead. Okay? And, we're looking for, or we're waiting for somebody to basically put those neon light blinky signs on their head that says, I want to be a wine consultant. Okay. And I'm telling y'all, if you're waiting for that to happen, you're going to be waiting a really long time. Okay. At the end of the day, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Right. So we've got to get in the habit where we're offering the business opportunity to somebody every single day. How? Well, you could do it at tastings. Okay. You can do it as follow-up from tastings. You're going to learn how to do it through reach outs on social media. Okay. It might be asking for referrals from friends and family, customers, whatever. There's a number of ways that you can meet those people and expand your network and find people that, could be potential recruits for you. All right. But it really does come down to doing it every day and doing it consistently. Because if you're not inviting at least one person a day to take a look at it, it's going to be a while before you find those 3 peeps. Okay. Y'all with me so far? Okay. So, so that's kind of the roadmap to team leader. We got to find those 3 people, because even if you do all $3,500 in sales in 1 month, which is our 3rd bonus gate, by the way, ding, 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 you should get there. All right. So even if you do all $3,500 in sales all by yourself, you still have to have 3 people on your team at the end of the month in order to earn that promotion. Okay. And y'all know what a big difference in pay you get when you promote to team leader, right? Y'all have looked at that comp plan. It's a lot of money. It's about a 43% increase in your pay when you do the math. Okay. It's a significant amount. Okay. So, that's our path to team leader. And I want you guys to set that expectation, understanding that, usually the first 3 to 6 months after you earn that promotion, you're still going to be doing 80 to 100% of that volume. And the reason I tell you guys that is because one of the biggest mistakes I see with up and coming leaders is they work so hard to get that promotion. And then they get that whole, okay, whew, I did it. And then you know what happens the very next month? You miss those numbers and you don't get paid. Mm-hmm. And or you don't add another person to your team, and or one of those people that you just recruited decides, man, this really isn't for me, and they fall off. Now you're sliding backwards. Okay. So I just want you guys to kind of set yourself up to manage that, so that you can not just achieve it, but then keep getting it. Because I promise you, once you make that paycheck, you don't want to not have that paycheck again. It's a lot of extra money. Okay. All right. So that's our roadmap to team leader. Let's talk a little bit about how this call is going to work for next Sunday and then going forward. Okay. So everybody has a pen and paper, because I want you to write these 3 things down. Basically what we'll do is at the beginning of the call, I will mute everybody and then we will go round robin through everybody. Okay. And you each get, I don't time anybody, but you want to keep it pretty short and sweet. Okay. We should be pretty aware of what we're all doing because we're keeping in touch with each other through Voxer on a daily basis. So this isn't going to be like rocket science when we get on the call together, but you're going to answer 3 things when it's your turn and you're unmuted. Okay. So the first one is going to be, you're going to share with us what you consider your effort level to have been for the week between a 1 and a 10. Okay. So what was your effort level for the week in getting your board done? Okay. Number 2 is, what are your current sales and recruits for the month? And you girls can share recruit leads, by the way. All right. How many people have you been talking to that have actually expressed some interest and stuff like that? Because I know with the exception, Shelly, you're the only one that has a recruit so far. And, you know, I think that's the end of it so far. Okay. So, so let's share with each other what, how we're doing on our recruiting and our sales. And then the last question is, are there any specific questions or problems that you want to address on the call? Okay. So try and keep it as short and sweet as possible. We go through everybody round robin, and then we'll talk about the things that y'all bring up, the questions and issues that you're all having. Okay. And this is where it becomes a discussion, because here's the thing I need you guys to understand. First of all, clearly I have a wee bit more experience than you guys do. I've been here for, gosh, a quarter of my life. Okay, so I've got a bit more experience than you guys, but I don't have all the answers. Okay, I can have suggestions. You're probably not going to bring up any situations that I haven't experienced. Okay, but at the end of the day, you guys each have different personalities, you have different backgrounds, you have different experiences, and some of you guys may have experienced something similar and you may have a different solution or a different way that you handled something or would handle something, things like that. So the second half of our call is meant to be more discussion based, okay? Not necessarily Jen teaches everybody how to run their business. Does that make sense? Because you guys will learn so much from each other, and really support each other by sharing. Okay. All right. So that will be our calls, and we'll start that next Sunday. All right. So be prepared with your 3 questions. And then on Sunday night after our call, I close down the current week's board. And then on Monday morning, you'll get a new one every Monday. Okay. So it'll be the same thing all over again. It'll just be no more check marks. Everything will be unchecked again, and you'll be able to run with that week's tasks. Okay. All right. So then the last thing I wanted to go over with you guys tonight before I let y'all run away is specifically the tasks that are on the board. And I wanted to give you guys a little bit more in depth as to what each one is and means and what you should really be doing for each of those categories. Okay. So the first one on there is called personal development. And I said the other night, like, personal development should be anything that is really kind of mindset related, whether it's reading a book, listening to an audiobook, listening to a podcast, watching a video on YouTube, I don't know, watching one of our old training videos. I will be continuing to post more stuff in the group for you also. And I want you guys to understand that the things that I post in the group, those are meant to be resources for you. Just because I go post something doesn't mean, oh my gosh, Jen posted something, I have to go learn it right now. Okay. Your activity has to come first all the time. Okay. All the time. Activity is always first. And my favorite phrase to use is massive, imperfect action trumps no action every time. Okay. I would rather you do tons of activity and do it imperfectly or fumble around with your words or ask me a billion questions along the way than to freeze and not do it because you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do. Or you're searching for hours on a document or a video or a call or something that you can watch or listen to or read. Okay? Does that make sense? So personal development is meant for you guys to make sure that you're spending at least 10 minutes a day. And I don't care if it's 10 minutes first thing in the morning, 10 minutes on your drive to or from work, 10 minutes before you go to bed, 10 minutes in the bathtub, whatever it is, but find yourself at least 10 minutes a day to feed some positive, some learning, something into yourself, okay? So that you can continue to grow. It's exactly what personal development is, right? So the second one is planning your day. And I know it seems kind of silly and almost a little redundant to do it every single day, but I cannot stress to you guys enough, especially to, I mean, how many of you guys work a full-time job? Okay, almost all of you. How many of you also have kids? Almost all of you. Okay, so there's the thing, right? I know that I may not be able to relate to your situation right now today, but when I joined Wine Shop at Home 10.5 years ago, I was working full-time and I had a 5-year-old, an 18-month-old, and a 6-week-old baby. Okay? Yeah, and they're all boys, which is why I drink wine. That's always my joke at my tastings. But it's not really a joke. It's actually true. But I did start my business while I was working full-time and raising 3 boys. And guys, I was working full-time and raising 3 boys until 2016. I started in 2009. So for 7 years, and I was not able to leave my full-time job until I was an executive director in the company. That is the second to highest level in the company. I was an executive. Now I had a 6-figure income in my job. So I had a lot of money to replace my job to be able to leave. But I was an executive director and I had a team of about 300 people. So here I was managing this ginormous team, not to mention my own tastings, my own recruits, training my new people, and working a full-time job and raising 3 boys. Okay. So why do I talk so much about planning your day? I have done so many training classes on, time management and organization over the years. It's not even funny because most of our top leaders don't work. They don't work full-time jobs. So it's kind of hard for a lot of people in the company to relate to our top leaders who are doing a lot of the training going, yeah, but I work a full-time job and I have kids. Most of our top leaders are older, have grown kids, and don't work. So a lot of people are looking at you. I mean, that's kind of my situation now. My youngest is about to turn 11. I don't have little ones anymore. They're all mostly independent. They can wipe their own butts and get their own snacks, right? So they're not dependent on me for anything, and I don't work a full-time job. This is all I do. So, it's hard for people to understand, or it's hard for people to think that I could understand your schedule, but I'm here to tell you, I've been there for a long time. And the way I survived it was I planned every single part of my day. And when I tell you that I literally had laundry on my calendar, and I'm not even exaggerating, like I scheduled everything in my life on a daily basis to make sure that I prioritized the things that absolutely had to get done without a doubt in the house, in the home, at my job, and in my business. Okay. And I prioritized those things because these were the non-negotiables, right? And without fail, I made sure to get those things done every single time. Some days they were easier. Sometimes it was harder. Y'all know that. I'm not trying to make it sound like it was just rainbows and puppy dogs all the time. It's still not. I have 3 boys, y'all. So, but planning your day, because I have a very good understanding that most people in this business are full-time working moms. Okay. And so I know that time is scarce. I know it's a commodity, and I know it's very valuable to you. So make sure that you plan your day, and make sure that in that plan, girls, with your 10 minutes for your personal development, I'm telling you, plan some self-care in there too. I don't care if you listen to a podcast while you practice curling your hair or taking a bath or whatever. Like, you can combine some of those things, but I'm telling you, make sure you make some time for you. Okay? Because it can get overwhelming when you're trying to build a business, work a job, and raise some kiddos. It's going to be even worse when they start playing sports and crazy stuff again, right? And then we're going to be running all over the Shelly, right? I mean, that's just my boys at 3 different directions at all times. So yeah. All right. Then the last thing that I want to talk about, because the other ones are kind of, I'm going to go through them super fast. This one, last one I'm going to talk about is the networking piece. All right. And the new conversations, and how do we start new conversations with people, but how do you find those people to have new conversations with? Okay. So first and foremost, when it comes to social media, and like I said, there's going to be a lot of ongoing learning when it comes to recruiting. There's also going to be a lot of ongoing learning when it comes to social media. Okay. So please just do and learn along the way. Okay. But don't not do because you're afraid it's not right. Okay. I was actually working with she's a team leader now, but I was working with her when she was up and coming in our team. I won't name any names. But I was working with her, and she is such a perfectionist. She literally typed up a post that she wanted to make on social media, and she had me review it 3 times before she would actually post it because she wanted to make sure it was perfect. And I'm like, y'all, you got to just do, you've got to get out there and you got to just do, because it's, if you're worried about being too perfect, I mean, I hate to tell you, but there's not a professional athlete or, rock star or anybody else in the world that started out perfect. Okay. So you got to just get out there and practice it. It's the only way to improve. But when it comes to networking, I want you to keep in mind those new conversations. What counts as a new conversation every day? Okay. Here's the best thing I can tell you. If you have a tasting, you're likely going to knock out pretty much everything on your board for the day. Okay. Because you're going to be meeting new people. You're going to be having lots of conversations. I'm hoping you're going to be asking them to buy and or book, or both. Right. And I hope you're going to find somebody that you're going to invite to join your team. Okay. So when it comes to having an actual tasting, you're likely going to knock out all of that day's stuff, right then and there. Okay. But here's the thing. What do you do on the days that you don't have tasting? Okay. What about all those other days? So the way that I grow my network the most is through social media. And I'm going to give you a couple of tips so that you can start growing your network as fast as possible. The first way that I do it is, and I know some of you guys are not terribly comfortable with this, but I am a huge, huge fan of it. And I'll tell you why. I send at least 10 friend requests a day to people that just pop up like in my suggested friends list. Okay. People I don't even know. Or I'll go through to some of my friends and I'll look through their friends lists, and I'll look for people that I think would be somebody that would be a good target market for me. Okay. For example, if Stephanie is one of my friends on Facebook and I go to Stephanie's page and I'm looking through some of her friends, and one of her girlfriends has a selfie as her profile picture holding a big old glass of wine, you best believe I'm sending her a friend request. Okay. If it says, wine lover all the way across her profile, I'm going to be like, friend request, right? So I'm specifically looking for people who are my target market. All right. So I don't actually just necessarily friend anybody and everybody. I'm looking for people. I'm not going to send friend requests to people in Canada because we can't ship wine to Canada. Right. So I don't need to network with those people. It's not that I don't like them. It's just that I don't need to network with them. They're not going to serve me in my business in any way. Right. So I don't need to connect with them. So I send about 10 friend requests a day. I probably get at this point. Now I've been very active and very strategic with my social media marketing for probably about 9 months now. Um, so this isn't going to happen right away for you, but I now actually get anywhere from about 10 to 20 friend requests a day from people. Okay. I don't accept them all. I'll go and I'll look at their profile. And in fact, I have some people that I absolutely will not accept friend requests from. Number one, if you don't have a picture of you as your profile picture, I'm not accepting your friend request. If it's your dog or your cat or a flower or whatever, I'm not accepting your friend request. I don't even bother to look. Okay. That's my number one. Number two is, no offense, I don't know if y'all have any friends that work with this company, but I cannot stand paparazzi jewelry. It's that $5 jewelry company. And I have nothing against the company. I have nothing against even the people, but the way that they teach their people to run their business. And these girls are constantly bugging the crap out of people on social media and doing their Facebook lives. And it drives me batshit crazy, I ain't gonna lie. So I won't accept friend requests from these paparazzi girls. But my point is, I'm sending and receiving anywhere from about 20 to 30 new friends a day. Okay. And so I'm really growing my network. Now, I don't necessarily have conversations with all of them every single day. I'm going to tell you how to find those in just a second. But that is one way to truly expand your network, and pretty quickly. Okay. The second way is to find some groups. In fact, this is one of your challenges for the week. You don't have to do it tonight, but at some point this week, I want you to go out there and I want you to look for some Facebook groups that you are not a part of yet that you probably should be, because they are interests of yours. Here's what I'm going to tell you. It does not need to be a wine group. Okay. And I'm actually going to steer you away from the wine groups, because here's what I can tell you about most of them on Facebook. It's a bunch of people posting about their boxed wine and their barefoot wine, and they're not your customers. I promise. Okay. Don't even waste your time. Trust me, I've already gone down that rabbit hole for you. It's not worth your time. Okay. I'm not out here to try and convince somebody who is an avid boxed wine drinker to suddenly buy bottles of wine that are $20, $30 a bottle. I'm not even about to try and do that. Okay. So, so look for groups that are similar interests for you. So maybe, boy moms. Hello, I'm a boy mom. Okay. Moms of teenagers. I don't know, whatever your other interests are. I mean, my husband and I love DIY decorating. I need to go find me a vintage camper or trailer group, right? Things like that. Like anything that you love, that you do, that is something that relates to you, go join those groups, because the easiest way to start a conversation with somebody is because you already have something in common, right? That is the easiest way. Now, hopefully that conversation you can then lead into your business and introduce them to it, and maybe they're accepting of it, maybe they're not. But the point is, it's the most natural way to start those conversations is with people you already have things in common with. So as people are commenting inside these groups or posting inside these groups, go in there and comment and engage with people, and you'll know when you're starting to connect with somebody on social media. Okay. You'll see that connection start to happen, because you guys will start chit-chatting back and forth on a thread or something, and boom, you can take it off to Messenger, to take it to a one-on-one conversation, and maybe you can lead that into something about your business. You can just introduce yourself and tell them more about you on a personal level, right? So that's my second way. So first is friend requests. Okay. Second is groups. And groups are very valuable, you guys. They're so good, because like I said, Facebook loves groups because it is a community of like-minded people, right? So it is one of the best places, I think, to find new friends and new conversations and new leads for your business, because it is a community of like-minded people. But stay away from those wine groups. Those girls are crazy, bragging about their boxed wine. I'm telling you, it's awful. All right. So now you've made some new connections. You've had some kind of chit chat on a thread in a Facebook group or something with somebody. Now, what do? How do you engage with this person one-on-one? I am a huge fan, by the way, of always taking a conversation to Messenger. I don't like to do it on Facebook. Now, that being said, if you're in a group and the conversation starts on a thread, that's one thing. But once you're kind of going back and forth with somebody and it's time to actually like get to know them, you need to take it to Messenger, okay? And make that a one-on-one conversation, okay? Especially if you have intentions of trying to work your business into the conversation, because you really don't want to do that in a Facebook group on a thread where it's not really appropriate, okay? If you're in a group about, with moms of teenagers, I mean, wine is always appropriate when it comes to teenagers, but you don't necessarily want to be bringing up your business, okay, in that thread. All right. So once you take it to Messenger, I'm a huge fan of telling my story and then asking them to tell me theirs. Okay. In our Facebook group, I put my introduction script out there for you. It's there. Okay. And it is the same script that I use every single time. It basically just says who I am, what I do, a little bit about me, tell me about you. Right? Start with why you're reaching out to them. I'm assuming it's because you had some kind of connection. Maybe you just became friends on Facebook. I mean, I send this to all the brand new friends I have on Facebook, and I'll just tell them, hey, glad to make the connection. This is all about me. Tell me about you. Let's see how we can support each other, whatever, right? So the other thing I was going to tell you guys is I am very huge on, if you guys don't know how to use the voice memo function on your phone, I am very big on using voice memos, especially when it comes to one-on-one conversations through social media, because of two things. One is because people can't hear the emotion in your text, or it gets misinterpreted all the time. Y'all have totally had a confrontation with a friend or family member or something who misunderstood something you said, or vice versa, because it was all said in text, and it's really hard to communicate emotion that way, right? So I know it's happened. So I love to do it via voice, okay? The other reason is because this is just a social media connection and it's not somebody you've met at a tasting or in person somewhere, somehow. The only connection that you have is online. And if you want to cultivate that relationship as fast as possible so that you can get to business, the fastest way to do that is with your voice. Because if you think about it, you guys can all see me too, right? But I have never met any of you in person, right? But you hear me on the Voxer all the time, and you guys can get, a lot of my personality and things like that just from hearing my voice. You're not going to get that from a text. Does that make sense? So it really helps that relationship grow a lot faster because you've got that connection with being able to hear your voice. Hopefully they'll use their voice memo back. If y'all don't know how to use it, so by the way, I have my introduction. I posted my script there for you, but I don't ever send it in text. I actually have it recorded as a voice memo on my phone. And so what I do is when I make a new friend, I'll say, hey, Stephanie, and I'll hit send. And then I'll go to my phone, I'll find my voice memo, and I'll send it to her on Messenger. It's the same thing. So I don't have to record it every time. I don't have to speak it every time. I don't have to copy and paste it. All I do is hit click, send, done. Okay. So I don't know if y'all have iPhones or not, but I have an iPhone. So it's this little voice memo app right here. It comes standard on your iPhone. Okay. I'm sure they have one for Android too, but I don't know what it is because I don't have one. But you can just go in there and you can record as many voice memos as you want and save them and name them. It's really nice and handy. So then you could just, every time it makes your new conversations, when you make 10 new friends on Facebook, you can go in, I can make my new conversations in 5 minutes, Hi, Stephanie, send. And then I pick up my phone, click, click, send, next. Hi, Shelly, send, click, click, send, you know. Hi, Whitney, you know, and it's super fast, okay? And you can knock out those conversations. Some will respond, some won't. That's okay, right? Some might respond because my intro says something about being in the wine business. I don't remember what it says, but anyway, it says something about being in the wine business. I've had one lady respond to me and she's like, "Oh, that's so awesome. I'm actually a recovered alcoholic." I'm like, "Well, not asking you to be a customer." Okay. So, I mean, sometimes it's going to be beneficial. Just the other day, I reached out to a girl, told her happy birthday, gave her my whole intro, did the whole thing. She's like, "Oh my gosh, wine is my favorite. Tell me how this works." I asked her to tell me about her. She'd never even told me anything about her. All she responded was, "Oh my gosh, wine is my favorite. Tell me how it works." That was it. That quick. Just from saying, "Hey, I'm Jen. Nice to meet you. I'm a mom. I love beagles. We do this, we do that, we do that. And oh, by the way, I'm in the wine business." Okay. So, but you've got to do it. You've got to do it consistently. All right. But I'm going to give you tools to help you do it quickly so that these things are not time consuming. So that's why I'm saying, take that script, rewrite it, make it your own, and then record it as a voice memo on your phone. And every time you make a new friend on Facebook, send it to them. Done. New conversation started. Check. Right? So a new conversation is the definition on your Trello board. The definition of that new conversation is really just the, "Hey, nice to meet you. This is who I am. Tell me about you." Okay? That's what a new conversation is. An invite to either buy or book, okay? There's the product and hosting category. That is when you've gotten past that initial, "Hi, nice to meet you." Okay. Now, the one I just told you about, that one was a pretty easy one. We went straight to the product, right? So that was not a problem. But sometimes you got to have most of the time, you got to have some back and forth exchange, and you kind of decide, is this really somebody I want to ask to be a customer or a host or to join my team? Or is this not really worth my time? And you've got to be you've got to be the decision maker there. All right. I do kind of have an internal kind of a self rule. And that is, if I haven't really been able to bring up the ask within about 72 hours, I'm probably not going to. At that point, I'm kind of like writing them off and I'm moving on. Okay. And the reason I say that is because usually if you do it too fast, it's icky, right? Okay, so don't ever just reach out and cold message somebody. "Hey, Shelly, I know we just connected on Facebook, but hey, I'm just curious. Do you want to learn all about my wine and see if you want to be one of my customers?" Don't ever do that. Okay, I will slap you silly. Not really, but so I don't want you to do it cold, but I also don't want you to wait too long, because then it kind of feels a little bit, ingenuine. It's like almost like you've been buttering them up just so that you could ask them to be a customer or a host or a team member. Okay. So I feel like there's a window there where you've kind of spent enough time getting to know somebody, and sometimes it's faster. Like I said, this girl just responded, "Wine's my favorite. Tell me about it. How's it work?" That was pretty easy. We went right into it. But I tend to give myself kind of that window, because I think I have found, just through experience, that once it gets past about 72 hours, if they stop responding or they're not really engaging with you anymore or whatever, and you haven't asked, it's probably time to move on. There's that connection is just not happening. And that connection is not going to happen with every person. But that's why there are so many of those new conversations on your board every day. Because again, statistically, we've got to be doing this many conversations in order to get this many asks, in order to get this many yeses, in order to get the results and the sales and the bookings and the recruits that we need to grow our business. Okay. So all of it is for a reason and a purpose. Make sense? And then the last thing is recruiting conversations. So how many of you guys are terrified to ask somebody about joining the business, or if they're interested in? Yeah. Be honest. It's okay. All right. So you want me to give you my best tip on how to do it. Are you ready? You better write this down because it's my very best. It's my gold. All right. Okay. So I will tell you 10 and a half years later, I still don't like asking people to join my business either. Now you know a secret about Jen LaCour. All right. But here's the deal. Here's how I typically do it. I usually like to talk about the product first. Okay. Because let's be honest, you don't have to be a wine lover to do what we do, but most of our reps are wine lovers. Okay. Y'all love wine, right? See? Okay. So most of our consultants do love wine. So those are the easiest, right? Those are the easiest people to talk to about the business. But I like to talk about the product first. All right. And if I have somebody who's interested in the product, so let me tell you how I responded to this girl the other day when she asked me, she's like, oh my gosh, wine's my favorite. Tell me all about this. So I just kind of gave her a brief introduction about our winery and what makes our wines a little bit different and why you can't find them in stores and blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. She said, do you have any, I don't remember what she told me her favorite was. I think it was Pinot Noir. But anyway, she's asking me, do you have this? Do you have that? Whatever. And I said, we have a whole list I can send to you if you want to check it out. She said, absolutely, please do. And I said, so let me ask you this. You ready? Here goes. I said, are you interested in learning about how you can pay retail for our wines? Do you want to know about how you can earn some discounts on the wines? Or are you interested in learning about how you can earn our wines for free? What do you think she said? She said free. Do you know who gets wine for free? The only people who get wine for free are consultants when you earn it, right? So it led me and it gave me an opportunity to then talk about how she could also become a wine consultant. Do you see that? So it was very easy for me to lead into the business at that point because it was a talking point. I don't like to just come right out and say, oh my gosh, you should be a wine consultant. Okay. It still makes me kind of like, makes my skin crawl. So I start with the products and then I ask them, are you more interested in paying retail, earning discounts? And then I'll bring up the booking, the hosting, right? Or do you want to know how you can earn your products for free and get paid commissions to share it with friends? Super easy, right? Does that sound a little less intimidating to some of you guys? That's my gold. I'm telling you, it's my gold. So that is my very favorite way to do it. From there, we'll talk about three-way conversations, how to lead into those. I'm going to like training on recruiting and social media. We're probably going to focus on recruiting first because that is by far more important. I don't care if you suck at social media. That's not going to make or break your business. Not right now. Okay. So we're going to focus on recruiting first because if we don't get you 3 recruits, you can't be a team leader no matter what, right? So we're going to focus on a lot of recruiting, how to increase those bookings, how to maximize sales. We'll work on all of those other skills. We'll master, or we'll not master, but we'll just keep learning how to improve those skills. But we've got to learn how to recruit. We've got to get that rolling as fast as possible. So now hopefully tonight I've given you my little gold, and hopefully tomorrow you're going to try it on somebody. You're going to have a conversation with somebody. You're going to talk to them about products. You're going to start talking about wine, whatever it is. And you're going to go into, hey, you want to know how you pay retail? You want to earn a discount? Or you want to learn how you can earn it for free? Okay. And that will give you that open door to offer the business opportunity. Okay. All right, unmute. Questions, concerns, thoughts? Punch me in the face? I don't know. What are y'all thinking? Go ahead, Whitney. You got to unmute yourself, girl. There you go. Now you are.
Oh, okay. Just kidding. Okay, my first question is, so is she a consultant now? Isn't?
She's not yet. No, she wanted to be a customer first. She decided. So,
Okay. My second question is, how is your month going without wine?
well, do you see me drinking the whole time?
I
Yeah.
might have seen that.
Yeah.
That's really my only questions.
Well, in case y'all didn't see, because I know y'all are friends with me on Facebook now, but yesterday afternoon, I walked down, we have a community mailbox, and I walked down to the mailbox and I was walking home, and we have an empty lot where they haven't built a house yet, right across the street from us. And I cut through the empty lot, and there was a board with 2 rusty nails in it sticking up, and I put it through my foot. So I've been in a lot of pain,
I'd be
and
drinking too.
ibuprofen and wine are my solutions. So yeah, screw Whole30 when you put a nail through your foot. I'm not even, I already told my trainer, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do because I can't even walk. So just be prepared to give me, yeah, lots of sit-ups and push-ups. I bet that's what she's going to make me do tomorrow. So
Arms. Work those arms.
Okay, who else? Anybody?
I just want to make sure, I don't remember, you said the personal development stuff, it can be self-care things too, right? Like, it doesn't have to be business oriented? Would it be better if it was?
I would like you to spend at least 10 minutes with business related, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, something where you are learning, or, like listening to motivational speakers and, that kind of stuff. Yeah, something that is helping your brain cells.
Okay.
So I don't know if some of y'all may know. So one of my favorite speakers that I listen to podcasting all the time. Some of y'all may know, but his name is Simon Sinek.
Mm-hmm.
But he talks a lot about leadership, like a lot. Like that is his forte, mm-hmm. is leadership. And he's got a lot of YouTube videos, podcasts, things like that. And some of them are 15 minutes, some of them are 30 minutes, but definitely Simon Sinek is one to watch and listen to about just basically leadership and, what it entails and just a whole bunch of stuff. So
yeah,
just the information.
He's got a great talk about, I don't know if it's a TED Talk or what it is, but he's got a great talk about the importance of why, mm-hmm. and how the why is central and everything else actually comes from that central point.
Always.
So that's interesting. We were talking about why earlier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Always comes back to your why. I think it's really hard. Some people say you should have a why that makes you cry, blah, 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 like all these things. But at the end of the day, you guys, I'm not trying to make this business sound like it's, I told you, it's not rainbows and puppy dogs all the time. There are definitely lots of rainbow and puppy dog moments for sure. But there's going to be some days that just plain suck when you just like there are days when I just get peopled out. I'm like, I can't handle one more person, saying something stupid or rude or whatever. And, it's just some days just kind of suck, but you have to know why you're doing it. Why do you need to, pick up that phone and call one more person or reach out to one more person or do one more ask for the day? What is that makes you want to keep going? So
for personal development, I read a lot of the YouVersion Bible study plans. Is that not considered? Some of them are like business related because the plans kind of relate your beliefs with business. Mm-hmm. Not all of them are business related. So should I add something else to it for 10 minutes? I mean, sometimes I listen to Millionaire in the Making, Millionaire Maker. Mm-hmm. I forgot who he is, but there's millionaire in his title on Instagram, but I don't listen to him like every day.
Okay, let me put it this way, you guys. I want to make sure that you're feeding your brain with some positive, uplifting, and even some challenging learning all the time. Okay, all the time. And at the end of the day, you get to choose where that comes from. So if that comes from the Bible, or that comes from Bible studies, and related, or, whatever that is, it doesn't matter to me what you guys are reading, listening to, all those things, as long as it's something that is truly positive and helping your brain cells. Now, the other side of that is, if you're struggling in a specific topic and I say, hey, there's a video here that'll teach you all about that, go watch that. Don't come to me 3 days later and say, well, I've just been too busy, I couldn't fit it in. Okay? Does that make sense? So all I'm saying is just make sure that you're making time to always be learning something new every single day and feeding your brain with some positive stuff. Does that make more sense? Okay. All right, ladies. Anybody else? Anything? Did I overwhelm you tonight?
I have a quick question, Jen.
Go, Nikki.
I'm going to be that obnoxious person. Is there any way to get the board on Sunday nights instead of Monday morning? Or is that in the bed?
Well, tonight definitely not, because it's already past my bedtime, because I get up at 3:30 in the morning. So I don't know, because I've got 3 different groups, and it takes me probably a couple of hours to get through it all for all 3 of you guys.
Okay.
So my habit has been going to the gym at 4:30 in the morning and coming home and having it all done before most of you guys are even awake. Because I've already done an hour's worth of work before you guys even, your alarms even go off.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't guarantee that, because I also do tastings on Sundays.
Okay.
And between church and tastings and then this call at night, I don't know that I will always have time to get that in.
Okay.
I can't guarantee that, but I can certainly try.
Speaking of the Sunday night call, is there a schedule for weekly calls, or is it just Sunday night?
Just Sunday nights. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So last week was a little different because we were, I needed to make sure that you guys understood what the program was about and how it's going to work and all that kind of stuff. But going forward, it will just be Sunday nights, Sunday night at 8, every Sunday. Okay. And just so y'all know, my expectation of the group is that if you cannot make the live call, that you watch the recording within 24 hours. And that's the other thing I do first thing Monday morning, is I post the recording in the group, in the Facebook group. Okay. So I understand life happens, or maybe you have a tasting, or it's somebody's birthday or whatever, and you can't be on tonight, and that's okay. Just make sure you watch the recording, within 24 hours, so that you can be up to speed. So that might take up your learning for the day, your personal development.
Is the board the same every week?
Yes.
Okay. So there, Nikki, at least you can prepare,
Yeah.
and then when you get it Monday,
I'll
you
just
could,
fill it in.
check them off or whatever.
I'm such a pre-planner that it's like I
Right.
plan everything so far ahead. So that's what I was just gonna do.
Yeah,
is just
so the
do it
activities-
out separately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The activities and the number of activities, nothing will change on that board. It will be the same.
Cool.
It'll just be blank every week. Yeah. But by the time
I'm the same, Nikki. I was thinking the same thing, like Monday morning, and so no, I get it. That's good, but I don't want to screw you up, Jen. So I like Mondays.
Well,
That'll work just fine.
And plus, I kind of the other thing I have to take into account is there are quite a few people who are doing tastings either Saturday nights or even Sunday afternoons as well.
Right.
And I want them to be able to get in there and check off all the boxes and do their things also. So it's kind of like a
Right.
No, that now that I know that they're the same
Yeah,
all
won't
the
change.
time, then that it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
won't
same.
change.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Cool
like that.
beans. Okay, girls. Well, then I will let y'all run away and get some good rest so you can be ready to tackle the week. Hopefully this was a little bit more helpful so you can really get in and run with it this week. Be very active in that Voxer group, because, we can't support you if we don't know what's going on. We don't know what you're struggling with, or we can't celebrate you if we don't know your wins either, right? So be very active in that group, and please, please, please reach out if you have any questions. You are never bothering me, okay? I don't care if it's at 10:30 at night, when you know I'm asleep because I get up at 4:30 in the morning, my phone is off. I will get it in the morning and I will respond to you when I can, but don't not bother me. Okay. So you're never bothering me. Just reach out if you've got questions. And then don't forget that thread in our group where you can ask or you can write down specific topics if you want us to address them on the call. I know Shelly did that. I think somebody else did too. Tedra. Okay. So, I just make sure that you guys are utilizing the resources so that you don't get stuck on anything, because I want your train to just start moving and going really fast. Okay. So make sure you're using all the resources you've got so that you can just keep going, because no stalling. All right.
I had my tasting yesterday. It was
I
great.
knew it. So proud of you.
It went really well.
And you survived it, even without me responding to you about your kettle chips, because I was crying about my foot.
It's okay. I went with it. So, yeah, it went, I was a little overwhelmed because I didn't realize, you posted it on a seller